Hi friends! The purpose of this test is to identify the resistance of textile fabrics against pilling and surface change. The equipment we use in this test is the pilling box device, which has two heads and its inner surface is coated with corks. It must turn at 60 cycles a minute. We use sticking masters to bind the samples in this test. To stick the samples, we use PU tubes. We have an experiment template of 125 mm by 125 mm. We use PVC tape to paste our test samples. We have the Phyllis-Kopp testing device to evaluate the sewing machine and the test results. Before preparing test samples, the samples are conditioned for at least 24 hours under the conditioning environment. Later, pre-treatment is carried out. Pre-treatment comprises of dry cleaning or washing. After this, test samples are taken to the conditioning environment and are conditioned. Then it is time to prepare the samples. We place the samples on the ground inside out and take 4 pieces of the specimen. 15 centimeters from the edge of the fabric are measured. We must make sure that there are no wrinkles and no folding trace. In this way, we take weft and warp yarns separately, mark 4 pieces of the test sample. We mark the edge of the template. We determine the place of the stitches from a distance of 12 mm to improve the sewing of our test samples. After marking 4 pieces of the test samples, 2 of which are in the direction warp and 2 of which are in the direction of weft, we cut marked places properly. Folding the test samples into 2, we sew them at the sewing distance and at an appropriate pace. We mark 6 centimeters at both ends of the sample sewn with the machine and cut them properly.
Düzgün bir şekilde kesiyoruz.
Then we need to turn the fabric the right side out. We turn it inside out. The stitch you see here is corrected. The test sample becomes a tube. Then we insert it into the sticking master in order to fix it inside the polyurethane tubes. Bending the polyurethane tube, we push the test button on the sticking master. We put the test sample inside the test tube in a way that there is equal distance on both sides. We want to ensure that the stitches here are proper. Then we glue the open tube with PVC tape and prepare the PVC tape 1.5 times around the tube. And I stick the PVC tape around the sample, leaving 6 mm from the upper side. In this way, we are preparing the remaining 3 test samples. The prepared test samples are tested in a pilling tester. The cover of the device is opened to test 4 samples in the pilling box tester for the surface fluffing and pilling. Our device is covered with a cork lining surface. It is checked against any fiber dust from earlier tests. It is cleaned if there is any need. We then put 4 of the tested samples in the same box. We close the lid of the device. Then the number of the required cycles is entered on the device. After defining the number of cycles, it is set at 60 so as to turn at 60 RPM. Then we start the test. Turning in this way, it works at the desired speed of rotation. After completing the required number of cycles, the device automatically stops. After the device has stopped, the test sample is taken out of the device. Unstitching the sample, the pilling and fluffing formed on its surface are analyzed with a Flizzcop testing device in the darkroom. The test sample subjected to a pilling test is placed in the Flizzcop device. Here are photos of the knitted fabric. Photos from 1 to 5 are evaluated according to the sample's pilling change. Putting the original sample on the right side, it is rated appropriately.